Hello everybody. This is a video for the ones that have mentioned me a problem with their storage space, like how much space they actually have available on their own Linux computer. So on the new Steam layout, I don't know if in the old one this actually existed, but on the new one you now have on the settings, on the system settings for Steam, you have storage now. So you can add a storage device. And literally after you have a second storage device, which you can see here, I have the second one that I renamed to Steam from my basically home folder here. You can now basically click on all the games here, and a second button will show saying move. And then obviously because I only have two, it will guess that you want to move all the games from one to the other one. So now we're able to actually move. Again, I don't know if the old one had this, but you're able to move all the games from one to the other storage. And let's put the storage here. And basically I'm moving from my default here storage to this one. Okay. Do know that to avoid some, let's say, permission issues on disk, on the GNOME disk tool, there's this option, take ownership. So once you basically format and prepare this unit, click on take ownership. So it changes all the permissions and stuff like that. And then on the mount options, make sure that it's not like this, but like this. The settings there are by default great, and identify as, I typically put it here so it's easy for me to remember the name. That's it. It's called Steam. And just reboot. And now you have a new device that you can add on the Steam. That's one way of adding new space. The other one is lowering the reserve space count. Okay, so what the hell does that mean? By default, after you format something, and I need to show it, I need to show you this information the following way. I have a, let's look at this one. I have a I have an NVMe that's two gigabytes, okay, 2 terabytes, sorry. And there's a space, and you're gonna see why it says 1.8 or something, that it's reserved for multiple reasons, okay? But sometimes that reserved space is super big, and maybe you don't want to reserve it for that, okay? So here we're gonna be lowering. Let me show you how much of that space is reserved. So we're talking about 24 million blocks. And if the block size for this device is 512 kilobytes or 4096 or something like that, then you just start multiplying how much space I can't use on the system. So I'm gonna go back to the one that I just did before, which is, let me see, I think it was this one. Yeah, so on this one, instead of saying 24 million, it actually said something like 40 something million, okay? In reserve size, which is a lot. We're talking gigabytes and gigabytes of reserve space that I'll never be able to touch. And there's some benefits of having that amount, but if you're lacking space and it's critical for you to use that space, what you can do is the following. On that same device that you were checking the reserve count, you run this tune to fs and then -m, which is basically telling the system how much percentage of the total disk size you want to reserve. I think by default it's 1% or something like that. And it depends on the unit, but I think it's 1%. And what I did was I put 0.1 and actually changed, it gave me around 200 additional gigabytes or space that I was not able to count with. So how did I notice that? It's because when for this 4 terabyte, Steam was only detecting 3.4 or something like that. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of reserve space there. I did the tune to FS. that you can see here. There you go. Okay. Sudo tune to fs -m 0.1 in my case. You could go as steep as 0.01, but don't push it. Okay. And then the actual unit. And depending on this, the total size of that unit, you'll get a couple gigabytes of space, or more than 10 gigabytes of space, or in my case, I got a bunch. Okay, I got a almost 200 gigabytes of space. So, and there's still some reserve there, okay, for emergency reasons and stuff like that. But now I'm able to actually use the almost the whole unit. So here are just some tricks for you to be able to move the Steam information to another drive, but also to tune the reserve space for a particular drive, so you have more space in it. You don't end up buying um, something else there. Hope the video helps. Big hugs and think positive as always, guys.